Welcome to Speak for Yourself. I'm back, Marcellus Wiley. Emmanuel, it's so good to see you.
Say why. Say why.
So good to
Don't just make up something for the camera. Say something.
Honestly, just because you're glowing. I'm glowing?
Yeah, you got that rested glow.
Yeah?
And I need you to do half the show.
Keeping it real. Glad to be back, man. Missed you, big dog. Let's get it started with my new tan. With a reunion in Tom Brady, who is fresh off winning the Super Bowl in his first season in Tampa. Now, we know he'll face his former team, the Patriots, Week 4 in Foxborough. Woo. These are the same Patriots who won 6 rings with Brady and Belichick, but finished 7-9 last season. Take a look at this Bucs schedule. Champs opening up against the Cowboys. Damn. And have 10 games on Fox this year. Oh, we're going to get paid, Acho. Tampa is also favored in every game this season, according to Fox Bet Sportsbook. So, Acho, who will be more motivated in Brady's return to New England? Brady or Belichick?
Big dog, it's good to see you. It's good to rap with you. It's good for y'all to see us, hopefully. You look good. You lost some more weight.
Some more weight?
Yeah, some more. You lost some more.
I got that thing, huh?
Go to the clinic. Who's going to be more motivated, Sel? I'm going with Bill Belichick.
Okay.
And I'm saying Bill Belichick because I got 3 reasons for y'all. I got 3 reasons for my boy right here.
Yes.
The first is this. Tom Brady left Bill Belichick. That's the first reason he's going to be more motivated. The second reason is this. Tom Brady already won a Super Bowl. That's the second reason that Belichick is going to be more motivated. And the third reason, Tom Brady is coming into Bill Belichick's house.
Okay.
You see, Tom Brady used to rent a room there. He used to have a back house. It was a condo. You feel me? But you know what it is with condos. You're not an owner.
Oh.
You just go there on vacation, if you will. Now, Tom Brady had an elongated vacation in New England. Obviously, we know that. 20 years. It was a long vacation. Yep. But either way, you coming into my house. And if you come into my house, it's my rules. Let me put it in ways y'all can understand.
Let's go.
If I walk into your house, you the viewer watching this right now, I walk into your house, I open up your fridge, I start drinking your drinks, I start eating your food,
Chill.
I sit on your couch,
Chill.
I grab your remote,
Chill.
I take my shoes off and put my feet on your sofa. How that's gonna make you feel? Tom Brady about to walk into Bill Belichick's house. He's about to go into Bill Belichick's home. I don't care you used to live here. We done changed the sheets. We done repainted the bedroom, okay? We done retiled the
Those
floor.
cam sheets.
Real talk. I don't care you used to live here. This is my house. And Bill Belichick is not about to let himself or his team get embarrassed in his house by an old resident. Ain't gonna happen.
Ooh, I like that. But the image a little too much. Brady like, ooh, these sheets, these cam sheets, is that a cam stain? All right, here we go. All right, look, it's good that we come back in agreement. You threw me a softball. You know I've been on vacation, hydrating. Woo, I've been in a different place. But it's good that we agree on this one. It's Bill Belichick. Maybe for different reasons. I'm not going the whole vacation route. I'm not going in terms of Airbnb. I'm talking about the fact that Bill Belichick knows he has more to prove in this moment.
Okay.
There's a distortion in the perception of Bill Belichick right now in this moment versus the reality. Bill Belichick was left for dead because of a 7-9 team and all the issues he had with his team, starting with COVID, starting with a lack of performance, starting with a lack of personnel. You add all that up, people forgot who Bill Belichick is. But no one's forgetting who Tom Brady is right now. Everyone knows who the GOAT is because of his success and that divorce you're speaking of. Now, since Bill Belichick is sitting there thinking, Brady's doing better than me in his divorce right now, you know? He caught me slipping. Yeah, I wanted to get a bite to eat. I went out to Outback, got on Tinder. He caught me slipping. Meanwhile, I look on, he had Mastros in the penthouse on the gram. So it's a whole different animal with Tom Brady. He hit the ground running. But this is a marathon. So Tom Brady has to realize Bill Belichick's going to be more motivated than you coming into this situation. If you look at it from Bill Belichick's perspective, he's looking at Tom Brady's like, I don't want to say this. I want to prove this, that I made you, bruh. I made you, Tom Brady. I'm the Eazy-E to your Dr. Dre. Even if you get big, as big, bigger than me, I get a piece of all that because you will pick 199. If you look at it, he the Lil Wayne to Drake. Like, I don't give a damn how big you are. Drake, Lil Wayne sitting there like, yeah, it's not me, no, dog. I got you first. He gets a piece of all what Tom Brady is accomplishing. Problem is, in perception, people don't think that Bill Belichick is Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick was the Don Dada of defensive minds before Tom Brady was even picked 199. But Bill Belichick now sitting there in a position where he has to reset everyone's mindset. Now, the stakes are not Super Bowl stakes. This won't even a score. Brady has a Super Bowl win without Belichick. Belichick may get a regular season win. But every notch on that belt counts in the road to getting back to who you should be, fully respected as Bill Belichick.
So I even look at it like this, big dog, because there are so many comps between football and relationships.
Let's go.
If you and your longtime partner, your longtime spouse, significant other, if y'all part ways and she leaves you, and you know you about to see each other at a red carpet, not only do you need to look good, you better make sure who you show up
you
with.
Shonda. Hey, okay, let's go.
You better make sure who you show up with look
show
good.
up.
And when it comes down to it, not only does Tom Brady need to look good, Tom Brady has to make sure that all them cats, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that he shows up with look good. Because Bill Belichick, as I see it, can win two ways. Either you can win the game, obviously, that's done, or you can shut out Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Even if the Bucs win, if Tom Brady has no touchdowns, 3 interceptions, Bill Belichick still in private is going to be like, still got that dub. Even if the Bucs win, because even if your significant other shows up, your ex shows up with a new gal, a new dude, and they look stunning. They new dude look great. If your ex trip walking down the red carpet,
Don't do that.
it's still a dub for you because they embarrass themselves, regardless of the company they arrive with. So, as I look at it for Bill Belichick, he's motivated because he knows there's so many ways he can win this. I can go out there, I can win a game, I can just beat you. Or I can cause you to struggle, Tom Brady, and as long as I cause you to struggle, it's still at least in appearance going to be like I won the head-to-head battle. And that might be just as important as the team battle.
Look, I've been gone for a while, but I ain't forget how to do TV. We ain't gonna sit up here and kumbaya all damn day. You making me start to look at this a little differently. Because if I'm the Buccaneers, be real, if we on that squad, we land in Foxborough, first thing we're gonna say, damn, it's cold up in this fact. Even in September, October, you're gonna be like, it's cold up in here compared to Tampa Bay. But when you get off that plane, you're gonna get off that plane in sweats, no makeup, because you got equity. We won a Super Bowl ring. Oh, you really come... Bill Belichick and Cam gonna dress the same that game. They're gonna be so dressed up, so fired up. Louis Vuitton suits or some Gucci suits. That's when you know you broke, when you wear a full Gucci suit. I know you ain't got no money. So they just gonna do too much in terms of anticipation and motivation. Now, they're gonna be more motivated because Cam wants to say, hey, how many shots do you get at the GOAT? Head to head. And then Bill Belichick's like, I know every day that I was out there coaching you from pick 199 to the GOAT, I also had a scouting report on you, too, that I kept close and I kept to myself. But I know your weaknesses. I know which buttons to push. I know what defenses to call. I know how to shut you down because I knew how to build you up. So it's going to be an interesting chess match. But in terms of motivation, Bill Belichick just is out there for a hard reset. You know, when the computer's spinning wheel, so first thing you do is control, alt, delete.
Yep.
That don't work. So then all of a sudden, you know what we do. We from the hood. Pull it out. Pull that thing out. And he's going to have to pull the plug. He's going to have to go out there and hard reset his team and say, look, this is not the Super Bowl, but this is a litmus test. This is our barometer. Let's get a pulse of what our team can accomplish. That's the best team out there in football. I know their leader. I know their general. I know how to make him. I know how to make us great as they are right now. That's where the motivation's going to land.
The other kicker for me is, who else is as motivated as Bill Belichick? Because as we're talking about it, it's Tom Brady, Bill Belichick. But let's not forget, the Patriots have a whole defensive roster, maybe even a whole roster that's just as motivated to win this game. My junior year to my senior year in college, our defensive coordinator, Will Muschamp, he left to go to University of Florida to become the head coach. We were hoping and praying my senior year that we saw Florida in a bowl game.
Why?
Because everybody at Texas was motivated to go see that head coach. Now, that head coach might have been singularly motivated to beat us, but we collectively as a unit were motivated to beat that one man. Shout out to my dog, Will Muschamp.
Okay.
Now, Tom Brady might singularly be motivated to beat the Patriots. But you still got to deal with Dante Hightower, little linebacker, captain on defense. Still got to deal with McCourty, captain at cornerback. Still got to deal with Slater, captain on special teams. Plus, you got to deal with Belichick. So not only is Belichick more motivated, but the crew that Belichick is rolling up with, they are also as motivated. Whereas the Buccaneers, let's do it for Tom. That only goes so far.
What about Gronk? Let's do it for Gronk. He made him retire, man. He made that dude quit football.
That only goes so far. It's the real motivation of, Tom Brady, you didn't just leave Belichick. In all honesty, You left all of us, and them interceptions I got on you in practice, that don't mean nothing. I want to get a real one in a game where it counts.
No, that's facts. So let's little player speak up here, because a lot of the fans out there think we all get lost in the Rudy talk. Like, let's do one for the Gipper. Hey, look, picking up your battle's kind of heavy, brother. You got to handle your own business. You know, we're not all from this same place of origin, so therefore we're not all sitting there with the same kind of motivation and emotions. Gronk with Tom Brady is enough to get the charge started. First quarter, pregame, whatever it may be. You gave me a story example. I give you a story example better than your example, because y'all was sorry your senior year, weren't y'all?
8-5. Sorry, my junior year.
Oh, damn. 8-5 ain't sorry? So, wait a minute. You're a bunch of the Texans out there scamming people.
I'm sorry.
Okay, shout out to Sark. Get him right. Get him right, Sark, because that ain't it. I give it to you in NFL level. All right, so I left Buffalo, went to San Diego. I'm a very humble guy on the outside. On the inside, I'm cocky as they get. But on the outside, I'm going to walk around with a quiet, silent confidence. I got jokes, but I ain't sitting there trying to be cocky. But my teammates knew me. So they were like, dog, Buffalo mad at you, dog. You left them. You dissed them. And then you came out here and got paid. And you, on paper, we were Junior Seau, Rodney Harrison. We had squad LT, Drew Brees. Like, damn, you came out here to sunny skies and a better situation, and you got that money. So Buffalo was mad at me when we saw him pregame. I wasn't going to beef. You know me. I ain't fighting for the Ocho. I ain't fighting for the damn Bills or the Chargers. But my teammates were different. And their teammates, we had a pregame riot. And I don't know if this is on YouTube or not, because this is 2001. And I don't know if YouTube cared about us back then. But they went to war. And I was sitting there first. I was like, this is love. Like, two teams fighting over me, and I wouldn't fight over either one of y'all. This is love. But beyond that, first 3 plays of the game, sack. Second play of the game, tackle for loss. Third play of the game, sack. I was motivated as well. I ain't do jack the rest of the game. But the point is, everybody felt that energy. And that energy is contagious to a point. But we're going to see how much of it is going to be contagious in this situation.
Yeah, speaking of, YouTube was founded in 05, Sel. So
05?
You predate YouTube. I don't know how that's possible.
Dog.
But yeah, you're old.
Damn. I need that clip.
I think kind of the last thing I really consider is Bill Belichick has more authority to influence the roster than Tom Brady does.
I love that point.
So Bill Belichick's motivation will mean more.
Yeah.
Even assume they're equally motivated. The quarterback don't talk to the whole team, but maybe at the end of every practice, maybe. A coach talks to the whole team throughout the course of the week.
Facts.
Starting with your Monday meeting, film watch. Starting with your Tuesday, if that's your day off, or if you check in for a bit. Starting with your Wednesday team meeting, your Thursday team meeting, your Wednesday, Thursday practice, your Friday walkthrough, your Saturday gear up. A coach is talking to the team the entire week. Bill Belichick's motivation will mean more. Again, if we're talking stories, let's talk stories. Whenever we played our arch rival in Texas, University of Oklahoma, Matt Brown, our head coach, he knew what was on the line. Because we can lose, but we going to be there or not be there the next year if we graduate. But Matt Brown's like, no. Regardless of y'all players, which come and go, I got to be here. NFL rosters turn over 33% every year. So Bill Belichick is like, Cam, you might be here next year, you might not. But I'm still going to have to be here. Yeah. So when we face Tom Brady, yeah, I care about y'all, but at the end of the day, I'm the one that's going to have to live with the results most. People aren't going to say, yeah, Cam lost to Brady head-to-head. Yeah, Dante Hightower lost to Brady head-to-head. They're going to say, man, Bill Belichick and Brady met head-to-head, and Brady beat him after Brady won the Super Bowl. Now, Sal, you got a big notch over Belichick in winning the Super Bowl. Then you have the sub-header victory in winning the head-to-head matchup. Brady would have so much dominance over Bill Belichick in that regard. It can't happen.
Yeah, you can't win the major and the minor battles right there. We can't have that. And before you're a player, before you're a coach, you're a person, man. Belichick could throw on the hoodie all he wants, Tom Brady throwing the helmet, but before that, you're a person of emotional content. And this means a lot to both of those guys. So as Brady could go out there and try to motivate the troops, and half the dudes sitting there like, man, we don't even play offense. And then half the dudes like, dog, you don't even throw me the ball. Like, so where's that motivation going to land? But with Belichick, oh, you don't want to be motivated? You like playing time? Wink, wink. Or how about this? Employment? You like being on this roster? Like, I need to galvanize the troops. You're right. Tom Brady's not in the same situation as Belichick to umbrella that. And speaking of that, coming up, the new NFL schedule has us hyped and motivated. Number of exciting matchups on there. We'll tell you which ones we cannot wait to see. But first, Dak Prescott says he's ready to play. We'll tell you if the Cowboys are primed to make a run in the NFC next on Speak for Yourself.
Now, the Cowboys cannot wait to start this season. They even posted a hype video featuring Jerry Jones and Post Malone. That's quite the combination. Okay. Dallas opens up on the road against the Super Bowl champion Bucks. But Dak Prescott, who's expected to be back, said, quote, "This game means more than the opponent and their rings." Take a look at the Cowboys' schedule.
Hell yeah.
They got 10 games on Fox this year. They're also only facing 3 teams with a winning record last season, but 4 of their last 6 games are on the road. So, Marcellus, are the Cowboys officially primed to make a legitimized NFC run?
You gave me all them damn descriptors. Yes, they are. And I know you're reluctant to give them the props. I know you got a lot of self-hate built up in you right now. You just can't give love to your hometown, but I will. Dallas Cowboys primed to make a run in NFC. A real run. Not like that DK Metcalf getting smoked 15 plays. Look at your face. Oh, we gonna get into that somehow, somewhere. I'm gonna sneak. DK, hey, stay in football. Stay in your lane.
He looked good, though.
He looked good for who?
He looked good. 10-3-7, first time running 100.
Yeah. He looked good for a football player running track. He didn't look good for a guy on the track.
We're going to get there.
We're going to get there. Okay. All right. So Cowboys going to do better than that. They're not going to get 15th out of 17th. You know what the Cowboys going to do? They're going to look at this sandwich and say, we the meat. Now, what's the bread? Okay, let's talk about this bread. Because some team out there last year was 7-9 the year before winning the Super Bowl. Some team was out there 7-9 and got a turbo boost at the quarterback position. Some team was 7-9 and realized once you get the right quarterback in your situation and everything is properly dressed up, oh, that's a good, tasty sandwich. That's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tampa Bay's template. Let's talk about the other piece of bread on this. Oh, that was too strong for you to digest. Ugh, they ain't going to be Tampa Bay. They ain't going to win the Super Bowl. How about this? There was another team, non-winning team, sitting there, lost their quarterback for the season. Sound familiar to the Dallas Cowboys? And they get their quarterback back, turbo boost at the position. Didn't lose a game for the first 11. Finished up 12-4, made the playoffs. One of the top seeds, too. Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh, you like that, Brad? So the Cowboys are sitting there saying, we the meat, somewhere between Tampa Bay winning it all, 7-9, losing team, got the quarterback back. Oh, or the Pittsburgh Steelers, non-winning team, get the quarterback back and get that turbo boost at a position. Dak Prescott, back in the saddle as the Cowboys quarterback with all of the weapons that they have, with the offensive production that they have. Remember, they scored 32.5 points per game with a healthy Dak Prescott last year. That would have led the league if he would have continued. Dak Prescott has never missed a game before last year, so don't you start with this whole, there's a question mark about his durability. There's not a question mark about his durability. Dak Prescott back in this situation is going to take us, as at worst, Pittsburgh Steelers level. At best, they may win it all.
So, and I love doing this show with you is because not only are we doing Speak for Yourself, but oftentimes I get to play the game 2 truths and a lie while listening to you. Because you be telling 2 truths, but it's always going to be one lie in there.
What's the lie?
The Steelers were 8-8. They weren't 7-8.
I said non-winning team. I cooked the books a little with the words. I know how to do that. Hey, for real, I was like, how can I make them sound sorry? They're a non-winning team.
I missed you, bro.
Yeah.
The Cowboys are primed to make a run in the NFC to the playoffs. After that, I don't know what's going to happen. They will make a run in the NFC to the playoffs.
Let's talk.
You know what? Let's start with where you was at.
What, DK?
DK Metcalf, he looked good. 260. 260, he looked good.
No, he looked better than you thought. That's not good.
He looked good.
Can we, we hate to hijack this segment. He was in the semis. That's the prelims. That's not the finals. He got last place.
He was in the faster heat.
Dog, if you my homeboy and you come off the track before the finals and got last, we ain't going to Chuck E. Cheese. We ain't going.
What we can all agree on, though, is through 60, he wasn't in last.
Okay.
And the fact of the matter is, the Cowboys going to look good through 60.
Okay, I like
Cowboys going to look good through 60.
I like
that last 40, which is the NFL playoffs, I can't speak on that. I won't speak on that. But let me tell you how and why they'll look good through 60. Cowboys only playing one winning team in their first 9 weeks. One. Mind-blowing, mind-boggling. Somehow, some way, they lucked up to just playing one winning team. Yeah, that's the Bucks. Bro, after y'all get past the Bucks, it's Gucci. And the worst part is or the best part is, here, YSL, the Cowboys' first 4 home games are against probably 4 of the bottom 6 teams in the NFL. The Eagles, the Panthers, the Broncos. We'll see what the Giants do this year. Saquon come back healthy. Daniel Jones, you got weapons, make some noise. But surely against 4 of the bottom 10 teams in the NFL, because Giants, even if y'all do make noise, we still have to assume y'all are still a ways away. I didn't even mention The Falcons are the 5th home game that the Cowboys play. So the Cowboys' first 5 home games are against the dregs of the NFL, the bottom feeders, the catfish, if you will. So then I look at it. Your away games against the Chargers. Justin Herbert's a dude, but he could sophomore slump. We also don't know first-year head coach defensive mind. I don't know what's really good. I know, it's possible.
I just got back.
You play in the Patriots.
What?
But week 5 is probably around when, if at all, Mac Jones is going to make his debut. Why do I say that?
Yeah, why do you say that? He's not playing this year. Go.
5 weeks into last year with the Patriots, what were they looking like? 2-3. Cam Newton was struggling terribly.
Yeah,
Remember,
COVID,
Cam Newton caught COVID.
COVID.
I'm saying 5 weeks in is about where Bill Belichick might look up. And if they're 2-3, if they're 1-4, if they're a miraculous 3-2, not a convincing 3-2, but a stumbled into 3-2, that's about when Belichick will look up and say, we drafted you 15th overall, Mac Jones. It might be time for you to make your start. There is a controversy there. The Cowboys, through the first 9 games of the season, you only play one team with the winning record from last year. Looks good. But to stay in my track analogy as I end my first lap.
Okay.
Also staying in my track analogy. Cowboys play 4 division opponents at the end, last 5 games of the season. 4 division opponents, last 5 games of the season. So as I look at it, they got an amazing lead leg, meaning in the first 9 games of the season, you're only playing one team with a winning record, and you have an amazing anchor leg, meaning the last leg of the season, the last 5 games of the season, you're playing 4 division opponents. Dak Prescott, you 19-6 in the division.
Yes.
So either way you look at it, I'm not going to talk about the meat, which is the middle of the sandwich, but both loaves of bread is not wheat, nor is it white. It's that good sourdough. Like both the outer layers of the Cowboys schedule are strong. Therefore, they're supposed to make a run to the playoffs. But once you get into the playoffs, I don't know what's good.
That's a big-ass sandwich. You said both loaves at first. I was like, God, Lord. We eating. Nah, man. Golly, I hate you and I love you in the same breath. This 2 truths and a lie, me? How about just all lies? Like, forget you. All lies. Like somebody getting 9th place and not a single headline ever said he got last. What? You ran track. Dog, come on, man.
He didn't get last.
He got last.
He got 15th out of 17th in totality.
No, nobody was right that. Nobody was right that. They were right.
Thank you. Can we have
Look at this here. Look at this. Hey, too many track people were DMing me and texting me. It's like, Marcel, are you on the air?
Through 60, DK looked good.
This ain't a 60, though.
But I'm saying, through the start of the race, he looked good.
Yeah, he looked good. That's not even the finals. That's not even the dudes that's going to make it.
That was a faster heat. That was the So you're telling me this. You're telling me, can we jib? Can we jib, please? Can we jib? I want to talk to my dog.
Okay.
I
got one question because I've been in Cabo a long time, so I had a lot of time to think and drink. What
did you do first?
No.
It sounds like you drank and then you started thinking. That's the disconnect.
What's the headline? I mean, I know Track was so excited to have a football player bring all those eyeballs, and I get it why they didn't want to really be real to him. 9th place, first of all, doesn't even get an interview ever, but he got his. And 9th place is last. No one, show me one headline that said last place in his heat. 9th? My daughter pointed at. She runs track. She know about last because she gets last. They don't write 9th. They write last.
What you have to look at is what is your competency in your first time doing something? Because if you look that competent in your first time doing something, you understand the potential of it. If somebody came on air and they first time at the end of the segment, we'd be like, oh, for their first time, they were pretty good. Weren't as good as you, weren't as good as me, but for their first time, they was pretty good. They might have been the worst on set, but you can see the competency. DK had competency as a runner. 10-3-7 cell is impressive.
10-3-7. Go to Tokyo this year and run a 10-3-7. They'd be like, all right, you know where you are outside this state. You wouldn't make the first heat of 16 heats. But let me talk about the Cowboys who are going to be in the finals potentially because this team is built for success. I know you hate me so much right now. Had that one loaded. Look at this schedule. I don't know why you think that this schedule is not going to be favorable for the Cowboys all the way through. Think about it. The Chargers, they're going to be scary to the Cowboys, but the Cowboys is a non-winning team as well. Like you pointed out, the Chargers, the Eagles, the Patriots.
That's a good point. Good point.
We used to be in the locker room before and say, oh, we're going to get them, we're going to get them. And somebody had to come through and keep it real. Dog, we ain't that good yet. Who are you to say we're going to get them?
Good point.
Well, we are not there yet.
That's a good.
But I'm anticipating all of this coming together. There are only 9 coaches in the NFL right now, active head coaches that actually are Super Bowl champions as head coach.
Yes, sir.
And the coach of the Cowboys, Mike McCarthy, is one of those guys. That's why I'm a believer. Dak Prescott, when he's healthy, is going to set records in the passing game. He has the weapons, maybe the greatest arsenal in the sport this year in terms of weapons. They addressed the defense this year in the draft. First 6 picks in the draft, defensive players. Michael Parsons, shout out to LeVar Arrington, shout out to Penn State, shout out to Anthony Poindexter, who's coaching the defense up there right now, my dog. Yo, they have addressed their weaknesses and improved on their strengths because of Dak Prescott just being healthy again. This is all going to combine to a Voltron of success. Cowboys going to make some noise this year.
Here is the now pushback I have to caution you with at least. First off, you brought up a phenomenal point. It didn't necessarily serve your point, but it's a phenomenal point, which is we sitting here looking at all the teams with the losing records. the Chargers, the Patriots, the Vikings, the Giants. But all those teams still better than the Cowboys. So all those teams looking at their schedule and looking at the Cowboys like, oh, that's a dub. Like, oh, we got them. So that's a great point. That should at least give me, hey, you're Cowboys fans, give y'all some more caution. But, Sel, the biggest point of caution is this. No Super Bowl head coach who has won 2 Super Bowls as a head coach has had more than 1 losing season in a row. So if you have won 2 Super Bowls as a head coach in the NFL,
I feel you.
If you've won 2, you've never had 2 consecutive losing seasons.
I'm listening.
For example, Bill Belichick, he's won multiple Super Bowls. He never had 2 losing seasons in between the Super Bowls. He's had a 7-9 season last year. If Bill Belichick were to go 7-9, he would break that stat. But Mike McCarthy's on his 3rd straight losing season, Sel. So what that tells me is if you, a quarterback, can lose your ability. We saw Drew Brees start to falter towards the end of his career. We saw Brett Favre start to falter at the very end of his career. We saw Peyton Manning start to falter at the end of his career. If Hall of Fame quarterbacks can lose it, why can't coaches lose it as well?
I love it.
And I fervently believe, actually, that Mike McCarthy has lost it. Dak Prescott, I don't think he has. CeeDee Lamb is a dude. Zeke was TBD. Michael Gallup, a dude. Amari Cooper, a dude. But if the head coach has lost his way, then it really don't matter the functionality of the vehicle. I don't know much about NASCAR, but I know this much.
You better at Fox.
I'm learning. I did do a feature for NASCAR.
I'm about to say.
I know this much.
What?
If the driver has lost their ability, Sal, it don't matter the functionality of the vehicle.
I'm listening,
because the driver has lost their ability. So it doesn't matter the functionality of Micah Parsons and Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup and Amari Cooper and Ezekiel Elliott. It don't matter if the driver, Mike McCarthy, has lost his ability, and Mike McCarthy appears to have lost his ability.
I'm looking right here, and it doesn't show me that he has appeared to have lost his ability.
His record last year ain't show you that?
Huh?
His record last year ain't show you that?
His record last year?
His record in Green Bay before he got fired ain't show you that?
Oh, let's go there. All right, his record last year. Did his quarterback have his ankle come off his leg? Yeah, he did. Last time I checked, the Cowboys never had a losing season when Dak Prescott was healthy. There go that stat. Let's talk about the fact that did any other coach have to go through in their 2nd Super Bowl chance and opportunity? COVID? No. Oh, so there goes that stat again. And then you want to talk about what happened at the end. Now, I was one of those in chorus that's saying Aaron Rodgers hasn't lost it. He's just losing it. It's a difference. Like, lost it and losing it. Like, Aaron Rodgers didn't look the same necessarily with Mike McCarthy at the end. I'm talking even more relationship-wise than just performance, because even Aaron Rodgers reminded us, even at my worst, I'm better than most of y'all best. But that said, this is nothing that you have mentioned that is going to tell me about the Cowboys not having an opportunity to win it all. What you need in NFL is simple. The talent, you got to be good at the greatest position, most important position, and you got to find a way to be a collective. You got to find a way to just bring it all together and be greater than all the individuals.
Let me ask you
They can do that.
Let me ask you this.
They have it.
There's a small slight in words that I don't agree with that I think is a pivotal issue for Cowboys fans.
Let's go.
You said you have to be good at the greatest position.
Yeah.
I think you have to be great at the greatest position to win a chip or have an elite defense. You make a great point.
I can keep
Nick
going.
Foles in the playoffs, 6-1, touchdown-interception ratio.
Talk it.
Joe Flacco, he wasn't great the year the Ravens won the Super Bowl, but in the playoffs, 11 touchdowns, no interceptions.
There you go.
Eli Manning wasn't great during the season, but in the playoffs, Eli went crazy.
Yeah.
Even Dak Prescott, when he was great at the beginning of last year, he was still 4th in the league in turnovers. When you bring up Nick Foles, 6-1 touchdown-interception ratio in the playoffs, average, I think, 300-plus yards passing. Joe Flacco, 11 touchdowns, no picks. We can look at the Russell Wilsons and the Tom Bradys. You can't be good at the greatest position. You have to be great or elite at the greatest position or have an elite defense. Cowboys don't have an elite defense. Let's get that out the way. So that means Dak Prescott has to be 11 touchdown, 0 pick good. 6 touchdown, 1 pick good. He got to be that great. And are you willing to go Bucky Brooks, who said Dak is going to win the MVP this year, are you willing to bet that both Dak Prescott will be that great and Mike McCarthy still got the juice?
I would bet this, because I think Dak's going to be great next year, because he's always been trending in that direction. Last year was insane. Last year he was leading the league in passing yards before going down. If you talk about what he's going to be, he needs to be greatest in the greatest moment.
Yes, sir.
And that's all we talked about,
yes,
right?
Sir.
And that's in him. I don't know. I haven't seen it because of his playoff record or lack of success, but it's in him. Is it in his team, more importantly? Cowboys had 7th most takeaways last season on defense. People didn't give him credit for that. And 11th in passing defense. What does that mean? In a passing league, you could take the ball away. Dak Prescott plays good to great in the most important times with everything else they have. Mark my words, Cowboys gonna make a big run. Better than you, DK. Coming up, do the Packers owe Aaron Rodgers anything? We'll answer that next on Speak for Yourself. 57? I got cousins in high school.
Aaron Rodgers is not going to end up in Green Bay this coming season. We all know that some things money just can't heal. If a significant other cheats, you could buy him a purse. You could up the ante. You could buy him a car. But they not gonna forget that in the back of their head, you stepped out on him. The Packers, they stepped out on Aaron Rodgers, y'all. They found love in Jordan. Aaron Rodgers has not forgotten. As I look at it, does he have enough leverage to not play in Green Bay? Well, it's real simple. Leverage in life is always dictated by your options. So what are Aaron Rodgers' options? Oh, he could go host Jeopardy. You know that game show that pays its host roughly $10 to $20 million? Unless the Packers somehow, some way, get rid of Jordan Love or at least commit to Aaron Rodgers in a manner that says they are done with Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers is done with them.
Let's head to Green Bay. Report says in recent months, the Packers offered to make Aaron Rodgers the highest paid quarterback, but he turned it down. Ooh. Now, a new report says for Rodgers, it's, quote, not about the overall yearly averages. It's about security and him knowing that he is the Packers starter going forward, guaranteed contractually. Acho. What do the Packers owe Aaron Rodgers?
One word, a championship.
That's 2 words.
I breathed. I said, The Packers owe Aaron Rodgers a championship.
They owe him a championship?
Yes.
They owe him? And he's a quarterback?
Absolutely.
I'm listening.
Here is why.
Tell me.
Aaron Rodgers is looking at this generation of quarterbacks, and he is saying, this generation of quarterbacks that are as talented as me, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, if you dare want to put Russell Wilson in that conversation, they have all had the opportunity at 2 championships. Russell Wilson is second and third year in the league.
Great point.
Peyton Manning had the opportunity at 4 championships, but even his last 4 years in Denver, his only 4 years in Denver, had the opportunity at 2 championships. Tom Brady, we know he's had the opportunity at several championships. Even Patrick Mahomes, in his short 4-year career, has had the opportunity at 2 championships. Aaron Rodgers has only had the opportunity at 1 championship. If you ask me what do the Packers owe Aaron Rodgers, I'm not going to get into the minutia. I'm not going to talk about owing him a first-round pick. Haven't drafted a first-round pick wide receiver, that is, since Aaron Rodgers became the starter. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about owing him a defense. In their championship games, the defense gives up 35 points a game, more than 35 points a game on average. League last year, 24 points a game is what was scored during the regular season. I'm not going to talk about the minutia. I'm going to talk big picture. The Green Bay Packers owe Aaron Rodgers a championship because all the quarterbacks that fall into the category of Aaron Rodgers' individual talent in this generation, Drew Brees is not as talented as Aaron Rodgers. All the quarterbacks that fall into the individual talent of Aaron Rodgers, the Tom Bradys, the Peyton Mannings, the Patrick Mahomes, and I will even usher in Russell Wilson based on individual ability, they all had the opportunity at 2 championships. Packers, y'all owe Aaron Rodgers one thing and one thing very, very simply, a championship. Get there however you can.
Man, great take. Like, give me what I need to go get what I want. I give you that. There's a little pushback, though, if I'm the Green Bay Packers, because I only owe you what you've earned. And then if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'll push back even harder. I've earned an opportunity for those championships. Look, Green Bay Packers, the organization is at fault right here. They are guilty of not properly supplying a great what he needs around him, which is total greatness. And we're not just talking about he has a top 5 receiver, top 5 running back. I'm talking about total greatness, what's necessary to get to that championship once again. They need to give him more than they've shown so far. They need to pull in the same direction, and they need to do more and say less. How about all of those things, all those corny things? Now, I learned in life to have goals is kind of, I hate to say meaningless, but it's not as meaningful as having micro goals.
Okay.
My dad told me one day I was sitting there daunted by some experience. I can't even remember what I was sitting there flustered about. My dad was like, sit down. How long is a marathon? You know me, my old running butt. 26.2 miles, sir. He was like, yeah, take one step. Now how long is the marathon? I was like, 26.1. That's my point. Like, soon as you take the next step in the right direction, that marathon just got a little shorter, just got a little easier. Green Bay Packers, take the steps in the right direction. It's sad to see this is an organization that has gone so long without properly supplying Aaron Rodgers with what he needs. There should never be a narrative out there. There should never be a story out there that actually has legs that says Aaron Rodgers is not properly supplied with the right resources. But we all know that's a reality. It's almost an organization that is treating Aaron Rodgers like they did Brett Favre. But they're only treating Aaron Rodgers this way because they're PTSD, like they're post-traumatic stress over what Brett Favre took them through. And they say, you know what? We're not going to give you what you want, Aaron, because what we went through with Brett Favre. Self-fulfilling prophecy of sorts. Like, here's a Wileyism for you that I come across that makes sense of this. Of all the liars in this world, the worst are our own fears. Of all the liars in this world, the worst are our own fears. They're almost scared to, like, do the right thing. I swear, because Aaron Rodgers is sitting there like, dog, just draft a wide receiver. First round. You know that they've only picked one first-round skill player since 2005? And that was Jordan Love, his bench warming backup. Come on, man. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm sitting there just like you said in the beginning. Just give me what I need. I'll get you what you want. Got to bring in former Packer, Super Bowl champion, Fox NFL analyst Greg Jennings. So, Greg, what do the Packers owe Aaron Rodgers?
Well, the Green Bay Packers, from a business perspective, owes Aaron Rodgers only what he's contractually bound to.
No.
And we all know that as players. However, the awareness of Aaron Rodgers is what the problem brings to the Packers. And his ability to understand that, yes, they only really are bound to what this contract says. So what I'm going to do is use who I am, my abilities, and what I afford them as a commodity to my advantage. And his ability to be aware of that is what's going to get him and render him what he solely desires, which is that contract being solidified in his favor. That's it. It's an ear. That's what they owe him, an ear. Listen to what your quarterback is just offering you, because you have arguably one of the best to ever do it. And for them to not listen to him, and you said something, Marcellus, that struck a chord for me. They do have PTSD, because they are looking at what Brett Favre did. From the day Mike McCarthy took over, it was put Aaron Rodgers on the leash. We can't let him get out of control. We can't let him run the show. We can't let him get the big head. We can't let it be Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Well, when you play for a storied franchise like that, and you have the ability and you have the skill set that Aaron Rodgers possesses, it's just going to naturally evolve itself that way and come to a surface. So that was Aaron Rodgers. He earned all of that. Now he's at the position where you have to give him a listening ear. And all of those things that both of you guys have mentioned are fact. But the reality is, will you listen to me? You owe it enough. You owe me just simply that. Listen to me. Listen to what it is that I'm asking for, because what I'm asking for does not just benefit myself. It benefits everyone involved. Devontae Adams, the O-line, everyone. He has masked even the worst of defenses that they have put on display. So at the very least, the Green Bay Packers owe him a listening ear to see what it is he truly desires.
I'll give you that, G, because you hit the nail on the head where you say at the very least. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, I don't even care if you listen to me as long as you show up with what I want. When it's my birthday, G, I'm sure when it's your birthday. Sal, I'm sure when it's your birthday. It really don't matter if you listen to me tell you subliminally what I wanted. Hey, a new car would be nice. A new tie, a new belt, a new watch would be nice. As long as when you open up the gift, you see what you want. I don't need the Packers to listen to Aaron Rodgers. It would help, to Greg Jennings' point, if they did. But as long as they show up with what he wants, they don't necessarily need to listen. But yes, again, it would help. But what does Aaron Rodgers want? What he wants is at least the opportunity at a chip. Since 2000, mind you, the quarterbacks the Packers have had since 2000, Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Think about the NFC teams that have gone to won multiple championships with lesser quarterbacks. Whether it's the Buccaneers, Brad Johnson, Tom Brady, the Niners, Colin Kaepernick, Jimmy G, Eagles, you got Donovan McNabb and that combination of Nick Foles, Carson Wentz. Y'all can look at the list, Jake Delhomme, Cam Newton, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Those quarterback combinations are far lesser talented than the combination of Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre, or just solely looking at Aaron Rodgers in his 13 years as a starter. So it's not just listening to me, but Aaron Rodgers is owed an opportunity at a chip, because to Marcellus's point and my last point, Aaron Rodgers looking at the Packers like, I don't know y'all nothing. I've outperformed my contract, because last year I was not only the best quarterback in the league, I was the best player in the league. And if I'm the best player in the league, then technically my contract should match up with the highest paid player in the league. So statistically, Aaron Rodgers has outperformed his contract. So he don't owe the Packers anything. Now he's just looking at the Packers like, hey, y'all run me what y'all owe me.
Crazy, man. Oh, this is so sad, because I hate when I see situations like this. And I actually lived through an experience like this. Y'all might put this together, but there are circumstances, there are entities that are scared to empower someone's greatness because they're scared that they'll be bigger than the brand. I've seen it firsthand. And it almost seems like that's what's happening out there in Green Bay. Why do I say that? And why did Greg even pick up on that? And that struck a chord with him in terms of the PTSD of the Green Bay Packers. Because there's no way you could have these statistics go together. Packers have had a top 10 scoring defense just once in the last 10 years. In a league where the last 8 Super Bowl winners had a top 10 scoring defense. That's crazy. I know Slick Rick brought that up last week. And the point of this is, if you talk about all these things in totality, Aaron Rodgers is like, you're not giving me the skilled players I need, and then you're not even properly addressing the defense as you continue to draft and try to redress. So where's it all going? You shouldn't have a hint of anyone out there saying that the Packers and their best player they're not pulling in the same direction. There should never be a storyline that actually puts that together. But there's just evidence on top of evidence that shows that all this is the reality. So, Greg, you lived through the experience greater than both of us, but make it make sense, especially if you're Aaron Rodgers. You're that close, but it seems like you're that far as well.
Yeah, and so I'll add to it. It's not just the championship. Like, yes, he wants that. He desires another opportunity to compete for a Lombardi trophy. That means being in the Super Bowl, and then I truly believe he's like, it's on me at this point. Regardless of what we have out here, it's on me. We got to get it done. But more even importantly than that, it's about the extension of his contract and living out the lifetime of his career in Green Bay. Every player, each one of you know that, Acho, I don't care that you bounced around, but Wiley, you know, like when you get drafted by a team, you really want to be there long term. You want to be there for the entirety of your career. And think about what Aaron Rodgers has done. Think about what we just saw with Tom Brady and him having to depart. He didn't want to leave the New England Patriots, but he had to make a business decision once he understood the business reality was not going to be him standing in that uniform any longer. That's Aaron Rodgers. He's looking at the Green Bay Packers like, look, I'm in the locker room with this guy. I've been in that position. He's not ready. You know he's not ready. He's not going to publicly come out and say that. But what he is going to say is, I want to be here full time for the remainder of my career. Will you guarantee me that? Because I will then, in return, give you and provide to you everything that I've always provided, which is an opportunity for us to even get or sniff anything close to being a championship contender. So, yes, they better listen to Aaron Rodgers and provide him with what he needs in support of accomplishing that championship.
Yeah, speaking of support, when I was in Cabo, I did watch the show because, you know, this is my baby as well. And I saw one of my good friends, a co-host of mine, Emmanuel Acho, still one of my takes. Didn't think I would be watching. My love language on Aaron Rodgers take, I saw that go viral in terms of you plagiarizing me. Since he want to steal my takes when I'm gone, let me just remix my own take so then he can't steal that one until I leave again. Love language. It's so funny being a married man. See, these single dudes just be stealing out here. Stop, thief. Gifts are great. And you can talk about this, Greg. Gifts are great, but treat me right is the greatest gift. Like, I could go buy a gift all day, all tomorrow, anytime when I mess up or just trying to impress my wife. But the baseline of all this is treat me right. Aaron Rodgers is like, look, making me the highest paid? Duh. I'm Aaron Rodgers. But how about treat me right? How about get me what I want? So what I want is a contract like yours, Greg, that has hoodies with a jacket in it. Like, that's what Marcellus wants out of Fox right now, to be as treated as well as GJ. Coming up, speaking of Green Bay, there's a lot of great matchups on Fox this year, including the Packers and the Chiefs. We'll tell you which games are on our radar. That's next. Don't speak for yourself. Did I want my take? I mean, it could be, but... Welcome back. There are a number of games to look forward to this year on Fox. The Packers and Saints get it started in Week 1. Green Bay will then visit the Chiefs Week 9. Host the Browns on Christmas Day. Greg is back, but I chose. Which matchup are you most excited about this season? Come on, Cameron, follow.
For me, it's real simple, y'all. When you look at all the matchups, there's one that stands out, and it's Week 1. How about the Cleveland Browns and the Kansas City Chiefs? Y'all know this. I'm a hidden lover of the Cleveland Browns because I'm a public lover of Baker Mayfield. I don't want to wait, Marcellus, until Week 12 to find out if the Browns are for real. GJ, I do not want to wait until Week 17 to find out if the Browns are legitimized contenders. We gonna know Week 1, baby. Y'all remember last year, Week 1, Texans versus the Chiefs. Mahomes and Deshaun Watson both signed new contracts, making them the highest paid respectively, number 1 and number 2. We found out real quick that the Chiefs were for real and the Texans were not. One team went to the Super Bowl, one team finished 4-12. We will find out real quick just how legit the Browns are Week 1.
Not bad, but I get a little more excited when I see the Pats and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have to face off. Oh, this is some gangster stuff right here. I mean, this is poetic, movie, theatrical. Oh, you trying to tell me that the dynasty team, the dynastic Patriots, fell off? And then the losing team is now the Super Bowl champions? And now one-ring coach Bruce Arians with a Kango is going front on and stunt on 6 rings with a hoodie, Bill Belichick. And everybody going to be looking at Bruce Arians like, yeah, he killing it right now. And look at Bill Belichick like, you okay? That's crazy. So this is a hard reset moment right now. So exciting. So many storylines. Cam Newton getting the shot at the GOAT just to go head-to-head and say, thanks for passing the baton to me. I will take it from here. A lot of storylines to be excited about in that Pats-Bucks matchup.
So many storylines. I'm going to stay right there and piggyback all of them. It is the Pats and the New England Patriots, or New England Patriots, I'm sorry, and the Buccaneers. So, and the reason why I say that is because I've been a part of a revenge game. Like, I had my own when I came here to the Minnesota Vikings and I went back to the Lambeau, and it just didn't turn out good for me. But I was also a part of a greater one. And it was when Brett Favre was a Viking and he came back to Lambeau. And even when we had to come here to the Metrodome, it was just electric. Everyone was up for that game. We didn't want him to win. He didn't want us to win. He wanted to stick it to Mike McCarthy. He wanted to stick it to Mark Murphy, Ted Thompson, rest in peace. He wanted to stick it to everyone in that upper management to where they would look at, wait, did we make the right decision? It's the same thing when you look at this matchup. Tom Brady wants to stick it to Belichick. Belichick really wants to stick it to Tom Brady, but no one's going to speak of it. We'll see if they speak before the game. We know if Tom Brady loses, he's running straight to the top.
Straight, and he going to know how to get there, too, since he's been there before. All right, let's move on with some team schedules seeming a little more challenging than others. So, Acho, which contender are you most worried about?
It's simple. One answer. One answer only. The Baltimore Ravens, y'all. Greg Roman has been starting to become more figured out year by year. It happened in San Francisco. It's now happening in Baltimore. Lamar Jackson, we know that he is a dude. But the skeptics are causing me to become skeptical. Not to mention, Lamar Jackson, he ain't never been hurt. And I hope he does not get hurt. But there's a 100% injury ratio in the NFL. Dak Prescott had never been hurt. until he got hurt. Even Patrick Mahomes had a little 4-game stint just a year and change ago, remember? Where he faced an injury. So Lamar Jackson, I'm a little skeptical as well, because does that good fortune, does that good favor with his health, does it run out? But lastly, and most importantly, look at the schedule. From week 11 on, look specifically from week 11 on. You got to face the Bears, the Browns, the Steelers, the Browns, the Packers, the Rams, the Steelers, with the Bengals there in between. 7 of your final 8 games, Baltimore Ravens. Ravens fly against playoff teams. I would be a little concerned about that contender.
I got an even greater contender than that one that better be on the lookout right here, because there's somebody in the alley trying to hop the gate. The Kansas City Chiefs. Woo, that check engine light might be on. I'm telling you, for real, you can roll for a while, but then all of a sudden, if you don't address all of your issues, other teams will put a target on your back and come and catch you. That's what I think is happening right now if you look at the Chiefs. Look, one thing they have to do is address their formula. And their formula for success is starting to look like, okay, it can get you there until you run against the methodical, the ones that are going to be patient, play within their own skin. And we saw that happen against them in the Super Bowl and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Chiefs have all the big guns, and they know how to fire those big guns. But do they have any knives? And why do you have to have a knife? Because every now and then in football, we're going to have some hand-to-hand combat. And in football, you're going to run out of ammunition somehow, some way. And when you run out of ammunition, it just seemed like the Chiefs weren't willing to take what the opponents were giving them, to just move the chains methodically, and to pull out that little knife and say, hey, this never runs out of ammo. So we're going to see if the Chiefs can address their formula. If not, they better be on the lookout.
I'm going back to Lambeau with the Green Bay Packers for a couple reasons. Because of what is brewing right now. Will Aaron Rodgers really want to stick it to the Packers? Will he be able to just focus on the goal at hand and the team at that same time? Because when we look at Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, and when they had feuds, they always understood the goal was championship. And so they were able to dismiss anything that was out there. But you look at their schedule, they play 10 playoff teams. The 49ers are back. You look at the Vikings, they get their defense back in the right strides. They look a little different. This team is going to be challenged from week 1 all the way to I won't say week 17, because I'm just not going to believe in the Detroit, or 18, the Detroit Lions.
Oh, man. All right, guys. Number of players found a new home this offseason. So, Acho, which new face in a new place that rhymed? Which one are you most excited to see?
Let go. How about my guy Carson Wentz in the Colts week 1 against the Seahawks? No. Bump my bias. Y'all pay attention to this. The Colts were already a playoff team. And the thing that limited the Colts from going further in the playoffs, Marcellus, you know because you watched this game handily because it was against your Bills, was Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers was a shortcoming to the Colts. In the event Carson Wentz is who we think he's going to be under Frank Reich, the Colts now go from being a top 14 team to a top 4 team. Because the Colts got a Pro Bowl left guard. The Colts have a former Pro Bowl left tackle now in Eric Fisher, huge signing. The Colts have a Pro Bowl all-pro middle linebacker in Darius Leonard. And the Colts have a head coach who we know is very competent and makes Carson Wentz his greatest. Carson Wentz's debut is the one that will have the greatest domino effect on the NFL. Because if Carson Wentz is bust, the Colts are bust. But if Carson Wentz is boom, the Colts might just be an AFC championship or Super Bowl contending team.
I didn't have to go far to get mine, because he came to me. Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams. Ooh. This is the most major move this offseason.
I like that one.
By a lot. Look, they went all in, all chips in to go get him, and all excuses are now gone because he's on a real contender. Think about this. The playoff woes of Matthew Stafford, well documented, 0-3 in the playoffs. Here's the question. Was Detroit the reason or an excuse? We gonna find out this year, because the Rams, they claim now because they went all in to get Matthew Stafford that we did it. We got this close, and that was with Jared Goff. We've improved at the most important position. Sounds good, but what if Matthew Stafford comes here and doesn't get it done? Only solace I could give him is, hey, LeBron James in his first year in Los Angeles, he didn't make the playoffs either. So let's see how this all plays out if you're Matthew Stafford on the Rams.
I'm going with a rookie, and that rookie is going to be down south with them Falcons. Kyle Pitts. I'm excited to see this young man right here.
That's good.
When you think about what this roster looks like offensively, I'm not gonna even focus on defense. You got to line up against Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Russell Gage is a player, or a dude, as you say, Acho. And then you got, let's not forget about Hayden Hurst. People act like he's just a normal guy out there that does nothing. He puts in work. But this guy, Kyle Pitts,
that's a good one.
I can't wait to see him play because he's going to get those one-on-one matchups against linebackers and safeties, and he is going to wreak havoc every single week. Mark my word, this right here, this is Rookie of the Year right here. We're looking at him.
Oh, man, somebody Photoshop, superimpose my face on Greg's tape because I agree with you. Kyle Pitts going to be special, especially in that offense. Coming up, Matthew Stafford has made expectations high right here in L.A. See, I told y'all. We'll tell you just how confident the new-look Rams should be about their new quarterback. Next on Speak the Champs.
We're staying right here in L.A. because the Rams had a big facelift this offseason at quarterback, with Matthew Stafford coming in and Jared Goff heading to Detroit. The Rams have big expectations this year, but they also have the toughest opening schedule, or a very tough opening schedule, with the Bears, Colts, and Bucs in the first 3 weeks. Take a look at the full slate of games on Thursday Night Football this season on Fox. The Rams will get it started against their division rival in Seattle in Week 5. So, Marcellus, let's talk about these new-look Rams. How confident should they be, should the Rams be, in winning the NFC West?
Oh, they're going to win the NFC West. As confident as I just sounded saying that. Let's tell you why. And I'm going to keep this surface level, just kill you with some nuggets, kill you with some stats, and just remind you who Sean McVay is. Since he took over in 2017, fourth best in the NFL. NFL, I said NFL. I didn't say NFC West. I said NFL. That's who Sean McVay is, a true guru, true genius that translated it actually from offensive coordinator to head coach, unlike Kyle Shanahan. Let's speak on this right now because you always get judged by your opponents in the relative experience and competition. So you could be fast. If they're faster, you're still fast, but you're not fast enough. The Rams are good enough to win this division. Let's talk about in the last 4 years, Sean McVay's won half of the division titles. Oh, that's good. And he did it with a quarterback that led the league in turnovers the last 3 years. Shaggy, how you do that? Okay, who's in our division? Arizona Cardinals. I like the Arizona Cardinals. Sean McVay likes them even more. He's 8-0 against, 8-0 against these boys. Get up out of here, Cliff Kingsbury. 13-18-1 in your 2 seasons as a head coach. Fire crib, nice crib, but not necessarily the greatest coach. 49ers dealt with a ton of injuries last year. Could be starting a rookie quarterback this season if they keep playing with my Jimmy GQ. And on the defensive side, new defensive coordinator. D'Amico Ryans, my dog. Robert Saleh, obviously, out of the building. What about the Seahawks? Everybody talk about the Seahawks. Well, their defense still has a ton of question marks. Ranked 31st in pass defense last year, 27th on third down, money down, yuck. And they got a new offensive coordinator. It's him. And Russell Wilson. Y'all gonna get along? Y'all gonna mesh well? A lot of question marks in that division, but not a question mark when you're talking about the Rams and their personnel. So to me, mail it in. Play hard, but you're gonna win this division.
Sal, every now and then, because you have to do it, I have to do it. We come on this show and we give an educated guess.
Yes.
Like, we don't lie, but we give an educated guess.
Hypothesis.
Any answer to this question would be a lie, because it would be a guess without education.
Don't you undermine my point.
I'm not undermining your point.
I gave you facts.
I'm undermining mine.
Okay. Okay.
The Rams would be lying if they tried to answer this question. Why? Because think about how they start the schedule, Sal. I'll tell you this. The Rams can be confident by 8:20 p.m. on October 7th after their 5th game against the Seahawks. Because if they look up and they're 3-2, look up and they're 4-1, be confident. But so you got to open up against the Bears. Really nothing harder to face in the NFL than a quarterback you haven't seen before, a rookie quarterback who can run who you haven't seen before. Ask the New Orleans Saints playing Jalen Hurts if y'all think I'm lying last year. New Orleans Saints had the best defense, or one of the best defenses in the league. Jalen Hurts, rookie quarterback who could run, who you had no film on, showed up and embarrassed the Saints, and the Eagles won that game. So the Rams got to play the Bears week 1. Then you got to play the Colts. You can scoff at playing the Colts, but the Colts did make the playoffs. Yeah. So even outside of quarterback, the Colts are a really good team.
This squad.
In the event, Carson Wentz and Frank Wright are good. I'm not going to guarantee it. I have no idea. Maybe Carson Wentz is done. But in the event, Carson Wentz and Frank Wright are a good combination. You just played another top 5, top 10 team in the NFL. Great. Now you're rewarded with playing the Buccaneers week 3. You love the Bucs. I'm now growing to love the Bucs after you convinced me last year. I made a fool of myself. I admit it. You got to play the Bucs week 3. You got to get me in week 4 against the Cardinals. You 8-0 against the Cardinals. Sean McVay, you're going to beat them. But then you rewarded again with playing the Seahawks. And the Seahawks are never an easy out, ever. So I could come up here and lie to y'all and give y'all an educated guess, but at this point, I don't even know if the guess would be educated because who knows what Justin Fields is going to do in that week 1 game against the Bears? Who knows what Carson Wentz is going to look like? You know the Bucs are going to be good, and you know the Seahawks are going to be good. Still, if the Rams look up and they're 2-3, if they look up and somehow they're 1-4, I don't foresee that happening. But if they're 1-4 and their only win is against the Cardinals, ain't no confidence there. And it's not unfathomable for the Rams to be 2-3. I think nothing about that would be too far-fetched. 1-4, far-fetched. But 4-1 is just as far-fetched. So 3-2 or 2-3, I don't have a ton of confidence in that.
Let me extend your point. Even after week 5, do you have a ton of confidence? We saw 11-0 Pittsburgh Steelers team go 1-5 down the stretch and all of a sudden losing the playoffs, one and done. It can go a lot of different ways in this NFL. And let's go a different way since they're talking a little sports here. Have you ever seen the movie? I'm going to ask you this again because if you're really my friend, some of these things we exchange, you take to heart and you take them home and you get in front of the TV and you watch it.
I watched Eddie Murphy's Raw. And I watched Eddie Murphy's Delirious. I watched them both.
That literally was week 1 of us talking.
I watched Judas and the Black Messiah the first 30 minutes.
Okay. You couldn't get through it?
I fell asleep. But I've given you 3. I've committed 3 movies to you, Marcellus.
Okay. Baby Boy. See? All right, you got to give me a Baby Boy night. Somehow, some way, cross the 10 freeway and get hood in it and watch Baby Boy. All right, Bing Rames, Melvin, guns and butter. That's what he talking about. This world's about 2 things, guns and butter. Well, the NFL, especially the Rams, we're going to talk about 2 things, screwdrivers and batteries. I'm going to take you home to my house. I told you my leader in my house, Araya, 2. So at 2, that developmental age and phase, they don't necessarily have great perspective. Right now or right now, I said. So I'm sitting there and, she's playing with her toy and all of a sudden the batteries go out. Now, I know all it's going to take for me is to change the batteries. You're back and running. She's on the border of believing that. Now, our toys growing up, you and I, you just pop the pack open, pop, put them in, you're ready to roll. Oh, not these toys today. You need a screwdriver. You got to unscrew the damn back, then take it out. Oh, she ain't got time for all that. She's losing her mind. She'd rather me go to Toys R Us, if they still open, and go get some old new toys and sets than to wait the 2 minutes just to take it out. Why do I bring this up? Because the Rams, they got them old school toys. Pop it open, Jared Goff, get your old out of here. Matthew Stafford, here you go, Ryan, ready to roll? This team is ready to roll because they changed the batteries. So there's no doubt. If this team was able to accomplish this with the evaluation they had of Jared Goff, and now they have Matthew Stafford, how they can't win this division.
That's real. If the limiting reactant for the Rams truly was the quarterback position, then the Rams not only can win the division, but I think the Rams are probably the exclusive top-tier challenger to the Buccaneers.
There you go.
In the NFC, by themselves. Totality, I think the Chiefs. But as far as by themselves in the NFC, I think it's the Rams and the Bucs. I think the Rams can exhale after week 5. You got the Lions, you got the Texans, you got the Giants. Get through week 5, and then you get the Lions, the Texans, the Giants. You can breathe a sigh of relief. But if what you said in the last block is true, and Matthew Stafford, who is 0-3 in the playoffs, and we've blamed it forever on Detroit, if there's a chance it wasn't exclusively Detroit's fault, and maybe it was Matthew Stafford's fault, then all these walls and the Rams with their confidence might come tumbling down. Coming up, Patrick Mahomes is trying to get back to the Super Bowl, but we'll tell you how tough it will be for his Chiefs to win just the AFC. That's next. Speak for yourself.
Saturday Pro Football continues with the Spring League on Fox. Catch the Alphas as they take on the Conquerors at 3 Eastern. Hard-hitting action kicks off Saturday on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Let's head to KC. The Chiefs lost in the Super Bowl to the Bucs, but KC still rules the AFC, taking the conference crown the last 2 years. But they will have some obstacles if they want to win it again. Take a look at their schedule. KC will be tested early with matchups against the Browns and Ravens. And 5 of their first 7 games are against teams that made the playoffs last season. So, Acho, how tough will it be for the Chiefs to win a third straight AFC title.
It won't be tough at all for the Chiefs to win the third straight. So last year they were head and shoulders above the rest of the AFC. This year they're just a head above the rest of the AFC. I'll give them that. Bills are catching up. Browns are catching up. I think the Colts are catching up, but still ahead above the AFC. Why will it not be tough at all for the Chiefs to run through the AFC? Because the two things that cost them the Super Bowl last year, they get in excess: health and hunger. Are the two things that stood in the way of the Chiefs last year. They weren't healthy at left tackle nor at right tackle, and they weren't all that hungry because they won the Super Bowl the year prior and are proclaiming they want to be a dynasty, winning 6 and 7 championships, not realizing in order to win 6, you have to win 2. So health and hunger cost them the Super Bowl last year. Coming into this season, new offensive line, Orlando Brown at left tackle. You signed Kyle Long. You signed Joe Thuney. You got a new offensive line. You have health. Beyond that, you're going to have hunger because Andy Reid plus Patrick Mahomes plus Travis Kelce plus Tyreek Hill do not like the taste in their mouth of not only losing a Super Bowl, but getting embarrassed in the Super Bowl. So I think the Chiefs will roll through the AFC because what they lacked last year in health and hunger, they come into this season in excess.
I think it's going to be tougher than that. I like the fact that you said, look, the gap is closed, but they're still the premier team in the AFC. I can go there. Buffalo Bills right there. I don't know if it's head, and shoulders. I don't know what kind of shampoo you're talking about. But the point is they're right there. But it's going to be tough, bro. And I would bet against them. Like, if you told me take the AFC field or take the Chiefs, where you going, gambling man?
I'm going Chiefs, man.
You going Chiefs?
Because who? Okay. Give me the team.
Them. All of them. Let me tell you why about that them. The strength of them. Here we go. When you win, you've been there before as a winner. You learn in that experience. You grow. People always say the misnomer, like, oh, when you lose is the only time you learn. No, you learn when you win. But you're trying to learn and grow to something that's vague. Just be bigger, greater, something out there, badder. But when you lose, and if you're the Buffalo Bills, let's use them as an example, we're trying to go after something specific and vague. We want to be better. We want to be bigger. We want to be badder. But we also want to beat the Chiefs. So when that target's on your back, we know specifically how to go to work every single day. And that's where the hunger gets compromised with the Chiefs. The Chiefs, when they won it all, people are like, why they don't look as hungry? Well, they actually had a better record in the regular season, so let's be careful of that. What happens is, where are you working towards? Those micro goals. How do you get better? The Chiefs were challenged all season long to just go out there and be methodical. Like, we know that you guys can play the big ball. First game of the year was the Houston Texans. We're going to go out there. We're going to sit back deep. Hey, man, move the chains. They struggled a little bit. Chargers, same thing. Struggle. Had to go to overtime. Justin Herbert's first game. You saw it time after time. The Raiders actually beat them one time. Point being, they didn't self-correct. And it wasn't because of hunger. It's because they didn't know what to shoot for. Now, this year, they know what to shoot for. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's going to help them in the hunger department and focus. But what's not going to help them is all those other teams that have gotten better in the AFC. Look at them, especially the Ravens. Look at them, especially the Buffalo Bills, Cleveland Browns. They got the target right on the Chiefs.
The problem, Sel, is this, and we've talked about it a little bit earlier. We're going to take you on to locker rooms and story time.
Okay.
I'm looking at the start of the Chiefs season. I see the Browns. Oh, that's tough. I see the Ravens. Oh, that's tough. I see the Chargers. Oh, that might be tough. But then I think back to 2014. I'm on the Eagles. We're playing against the Cowboys. Cowboys were nice that year. Who was nicest? DeMarco Murray. DeMarco Murray was a dude. It may have been 2013. DeMarco Murray had been running through everybody. 100-yard game, 100-yard game, 100-yard game, 100-yard game. I think you were in TV at the time, so you remember. So we are like, dang, we do got to go play the Cowboys, but more importantly, DeMarco Murray. But then I remembered LaShawn McCoy had been doing the same thing. So more than us having to play the Cowboys and stop DeMarco Murray, the Cowboys had to play us and stop LaShawn McCoy. You can look at the Chiefs' schedule and say, man, the Browns, the Bills, the Ravens, the Chargers with Herbert. But you better believe Baker Mayfield saw that schedule and said, dang, I got to play Mahomes week 1. You better believe Lamar Jackson saw that schedule and said, man, I'm 30-4 versus everybody else, but man, I'm 0-3 versus the Chiefs, and I got to play them week 2. You better believe Justin Herbert, and more importantly, first-time head coach Brandon Staley, if I'm not mistaken, he saw that schedule and said, week 3, we really got to play the Chiefs? So, yes, the Chiefs have to play all them dudes, but more importantly, they got to play the Chiefs.
Okay, playing the Chiefs may play themselves. How about this? Oh, man, it's tough to go to 4 straight conference championship games, right?
True.
Because they already been to 3 straight, right? 6 teams in the last 50 years. That can sound like, we could be 7. Here's the kicker. Outside of going to 5 straight in the 70s, we're talking about the Raiders and the Eagles, 01, 04. You got to go to the Patriots recently, right? You go to the Bills in the 90s. So in recent history, we only see 2 teams, maybe. And then now you start looking at the Chiefs. Are they going to be good enough? 4 of their 5 offensive linemen up front are new. Maybe better. A lot of them on paper look better, but they're new. And what is it about the offensive line we always talk about? Chemistry, unspoken language. I just got to know where you are. I don't give a damn how good you are. Just be where you're supposed to be. So there's going to be so much movement in terms of communication and chemistry up front. Patrick Mahomes coming off the worst game of his postseason career, maybe his whole entire NFL career, with all that scrutiny. I know he'll respond. But there's just a lot of moving parts versus some other teams that have the chemistry, that have the consistency, and don't have all these moving parts. It's going to be fun to watch the Chiefs do this year. Coming up, Dak, Russell Wilson, and Brady will all be featured on Fox this year. We'll get the inside scoop on how all the matchups came together. That's next on Speak for Yourself. There are so many games to look forward to on Fox this year, starting with the Packers and Saints in Week 1. Super Bowl champs will be in L.A. to face the Rams Week 3. And the Cowboys will travel to KC in Week 11. Let's bring in Mike Mulvihill, Executive Vice President, Head of Strategy and Analytics at Fox Sports. Help us break down this season's schedule. Mike, welcome to Speak for Yourself. Feel comfortable here. We're about to nerd out on this schedule right here.
That's what we're here to do. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, man, pumped for this. And the making of the schedule is complex. Can you explain the process and how many versions of the schedule are created?
Yeah, it is complex. And really a lot of that complexity lives with the NFL. They ultimately author the schedule. They create about 80,000 different iterations of the schedule. That process starts just before the Super Bowl. We and all the other networks sit down and review the season that just ended, talk a little bit about what our wish list of games is for the season to come. And then over the next couple months, we have a lot of dialogue and a lot of back and forth about which games could potentially anchor a national window, games that should be early, games that should be late, getting a good geographic balance across the country for each of our weeks. And it's a lot of conversation. We dive pretty deep into the weeds. We nerd out on it, as you say. And then ultimately, we all get the schedule that the public saw last night, and we find out how well we did. We find out how well we lobbied the league. You know, there are a handful of games that every network wants, and we're kept in suspense as to which ones we're going to get. And when we find out yesterday that we got a game like Green Bay, Kansas City, or Green Bay, New Orleans, we feel pretty good about the process.
Love it. Well, Mulvihill, all show we've been talking about the release of the schedule and what it means for the teams and what it means for the fans. But what does it mean from a TV perspective?
Yeah, look, I really believe that the release of the NFL schedule is the most important day of the year in the TV industry. If you look back over the last 12 months, 80 of the 100 most watched shows of the last year were NFL games, which gives you some indication of how dominant the league really is. Every single Fox NFL game last year delivered a bigger audience than the Academy Awards. I really think that where the television business is right now, if you have the NFL, you matter and you're relevant. And if you don't have the NFL, you're almost competing to be the least irrelevant. That's how important it is, and that's why the release of this schedule matters so much.
Wow, only speak for yourself. Outrating the NFL is all I heard from that. All right, so, Michael, we know the Packers are an extremely important franchise for the NFC package. How will Rodgers leaving the Packers impact the schedule?
Well, what we hope is that Rodgers doesn't leave the Packers. You know, what we would love to see is for the league MVP to be back in Lambeau this fall, quarterbacking the green and gold. That's the best outcome for us. But we have the flexibility in our schedule to adapt to events as they happen if Rodgers ends up somewhere else or ends up deciding not to play at all. Because we regionalize 5 to 7 games a week, we always have that capability to move a game from 1 p.m. to 4:25, or take a game that we thought was going to go to 90% of the country and cut it back to a smaller percentage. And that flexibility really insulates us. So a good example is Week 15, which you see on the screen. Green Bay is scheduled to play at Baltimore. We're listing that as a 1 p.m. game. We also have Dallas Giants listed as a 1 p.m. game. Seattle at the Rams is a 4:25 game. And we can really wait as long as the week after Thanksgiving to decide which of those 1 p.m. games is going to go to 4:25 and be seen by most of the country. If Aaron Rodgers is in Green Bay and the Packers are playing well, that's a great candidate to go to 425. If there's a different set of circumstances, we can always take that Dallas Giants game, drop it down to 425 and showcase that. And that flexibility is really why the Fox 425 window has been the #1 show on TV for the last 12 years.
It's so crazy getting the behind the scenes of all this. Because, Sel, as a player, we just hear that our game gets moved to 425 or to 1 p.m. or to 7 at night. It gets flexed. But we don't really get the inside details of it all. So, Mulvihill, appreciate you. Now, we know that every network's excited about their schedule today, but what sets Fox's schedule apart from all the others and makes it so unique?
I think that the power of the Fox NFL package is the power of the NFC. The NFC has always been our identity. I think that in the Cowboys and the Packers, we have the two brands that traditionally drive the most viewership. We obviously now have the Super Bowl champions in Tom Brady and the Bucs. That kind of gives us a third marquee team. And we have the biggest markets in the country. From a business perspective, what really matters about the NFC is that those local economies in NFC markets, obviously New York and LA are in both conferences, but on the NFC side, we've got Chicago, Philly, Washington, Seattle, San Francisco. Those local economies in the NFC generate $2 trillion more in economic activity than the 16 AFC markets do. So when you're trying to put forward a media business and make this package work financially, that power of the NFC local economies really goes a long way.
Man, this is fascinating. I know we're in the same building too, Mike, so hope you have an open door policy because I'll be upstairs geeking out on this.
You're always welcome.
Yeah, some of the factors that go into the creation of the schedule that myself, the average fan may not be aware of.
Well, I think when the league puts the schedule together, they're really considering three major buckets of factors. One is obviously television viewership. Media revenue accounts for most of the revenue of the NFL. And I think the needs of the networks are taken very seriously by the people at the league that put together the schedule. Another is just competitive fairness. And I want to ask you guys a little bit about that in a moment. But the league obviously has to take into account things like cross-country road trips, not asking a team to play 3 consecutive road games, things that might actually affect outcomes on the field. And then third, there are just logistical considerations in the NFL markets around the country. The city of New Orleans will host Jazz Fest this October. Normally that's a spring event. The pandemic has pushed it to the fall. The league takes that into account. They gave the Saints a road game in the first week of Jazz Fest and a bye week in the second week of Jazz Fest. So that's something where the league is taking into account factors that don't have anything to do with TV, don't have anything to do with football, but have a lot to do with just the civic life of the cities that are participating in the league.
Shout out to Jazz Fest for having an influence like that. Who would have ever thought that? Oh, that's crazy, man. Jazz Fest.
Mulvihill, let me ask you this, because there are a ton of storylines all offseason. Quarterbacks going from one coast to another. Star quarterbacks trying to leave their teams all together and host game shows. Which storylines pique the network's interest most?
Well, I think you start with those 3 marquee teams that we talked about. We always want to focus on the Bucs, the Cowboys, and the Packers for our 425 windows. But beyond that, I think 2 really important teams on our side are the Bears and the 49ers. They've both drafted quarterbacks high in the first round, Chicago moving up to get Justin Fields. And I think that makes both those teams really intriguing from a TV perspective. They both come from big markets. They've had some recent success. Bears in the playoffs last year. San Fran in the Super Bowl just 2 years ago. So I think those are storylines that are really intriguing for us and have a lot of potential upside. Now, if I can, I want to ask you guys a question. Am I allowed to ask you guys a question?
Of course. Speak for yourself.
Great.
You can do your thing.
Yes.
Look, I know this will come as a shock to you, but I never played in the NFL, right?
Oh.
I know. It comes as a surprise to me, too.
You're 6'4", though. You got the size.
So I want to know, from a player's perspective, what does it mean to you guys? And when you were in the league and the schedule came out and you got a chance to see where you were going to be playing and when, how does a player look at the schedule? Does it not matter that much, or what do you look for?
Mulvihill, I look for 3 things specifically. True story, as soon as the schedule comes out, I anxiously look for 3 things. The first is this. Do I get to play my brother, and if so, where? Because I was in the league when my brother was in the league, so I'm always like, okay, am I going to Arizona? He was usually on the Cardinals. Is he coming to Philadelphia when I'm in Philly? The second thing I look for, Mulvihill, very simply, are we playing on Thanksgiving? Majority of my career was with the Eagles. So am I playing the Lions on Thanksgiving? Am I playing the Cowboys on Thanksgiving? I'm born and raised in Dallas. So do I get to go home on Thanksgiving and see my family? Because traditionally in the NFL, you don't get to see your family on Thanksgiving. The third, and no slight to my family, but the most important, where am I playing in December? Because if I got to go to Lambeau in December, it's going to be cold. Hopefully, all the cold cities you go to in December, they have domes. So if I'm playing the Lions, are we playing the Lions in December? Ooh, are we playing the Vikings in December? If I am playing the Packers, hopefully I'm playing the Packers in October, maybe early November, and then I start to look at time of the game because the temperature will drop drastically.
Oh, man, great answers. I have a couple of those, and I also have more. Michael, be prepared, because I was all in on the schedule release. To be candid, I would grab the schedule. And back in those days, it wasn't digital. It was actually a paper schedule it felt like we would get. And I would sit there and circle the games I thought we would win and cross out the ones we were going to lose. Every year, my record was wrong on paper. I was 11-5 or better every year on paper, 5-11 in real life. Then I would look at home games versus road games. I was like, okay, is it going to be tougher here or is it going to be tougher there? Then I would look for primetime games, Monday night games. We didn't have all this Thursday, Sunday, and all that. I was just like, when are we going to play in front of everybody by ourselves? Any odd starting times, like, man, we got to get up that early. Or, whoa, we playing late that game. Any cold-ass games in December, like Green Bay in December, I'm like, oh, God, Michael, why did y'all schedule this? And then I would look for the best cities. I would circle that one right there. I say, And I was single at the time, Michael, so I would say, who's flying out to meet me to watch the game? Wink, wink. So I would look for that. The low-key cities that the coach's radar would be off, like Indy. Coach is like, oh, y'all can have, go out late. We ain't. You better be careful, Indy, coach. Which cities are close to the family I would always look for, knowing that they're going to beg for a free trip. So I was like, all right, where we going, where the whole family's going to congregate. And last but not least is, who am I playing against? Like, the matchup. Like, if I saw St. Louis, I was like, oh, no, I got to go against Orlando Pace or the Ravens. Here comes Jonathan Ogden and his 7-foot self. So all those things came into it, but it was just fun to just go through every line item.
That's a lot. You might be looking at it in more detail than I do. That was really a lot.
That's the Columbia in him.
Yes.
Mulvihill, I got one for you based on what you were saying earlier. Are you anxiously anticipating if Dak Prescott will sign his franchise tag and stay in Dallas, knowing that Fox has the Cowboys in the NFC? Are you wondering, like, man, we hope the Bears do draft Justin Fields or do draft a quarterback, knowing that the Bears are in the NFC? Are you actually as vested in where these high-profile quarterbacks go as a diehard fan might be?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. We look at particularly quarterback situations, obviously, with a great deal of interest. I think that outside of the city of Chicago, we may have been the most excited people to see that deal that resulted in Fields being drafted by the Bears. We look at player movements, as I say, particularly at the quarterback spot, with a lot of interest and with a lot of thought into how that might affect viewership going forward. So something like Dak coming back from an injury, and how he's going to play this year is enormously important to us. All the quarterback situations are important to us, but I think especially in those big markets and those teams that really have big national followings, I think we follow it as closely as a fan does. And look, in the end, we are fans, right? We're business people and we're TV programmers, but we're fans too. We want to see the best competition. We want to see the best possible players showcased on the biggest stage, and we want to enjoy the games in the same way that the fan at home does.
Man, great intel. Amazing, Michael. Thanks for joining us. We look forward to the NFL season kicking off. Appreciate you.
Can't wait for it. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, man.
Coming up, the Lakers won last night, but are they better off in the play-in game? We'll answer that next on Speak for Yourself. Lakers were missing LeBron James and Anthony Davis last night, but they still held on to beat the Rockets. LA has the 7th seed and could face the Warriors in the play-in game, then potentially play the Suns. But if they get the 6th seed, they'll have to face my Clippers. Ooh, Sacho. You think the Lakers would rather be in the play-in game or face the Clippers?
The play-in game, big dog. I'll be real with you. I ain't even going to be out here braggadocious. But let's simplify this for the viewers. I'm going to equate the Warriors to the Suns.
Okay.
And I'm going to equate them because the Warriors are playing at a very high level right now, best record in the West since April, so they're a very good team, and they just beat the Suns. So we can essentially say that as it stands right now, the Warriors, as far as the challenge they would pose to the Lakers, comparable to the Suns. Now that we've simplified and addressed that, I look at it like this. If I'm the Lakers, I would rather have to beat the Suns 5 times than beat the Clippers 4 times.
Ooh, say that.
That's what it comes down to for me. I would rather have to beat the Suns 5 times than have to beat the Clippers 4 times. Beat the Warriors once, I just equated them to the Suns, then go beat the Suns 4 times. To me, that seems less difficult. Or to not speak in double negatives, that seems easier than having to beat the Clippers 4 times. So it's simple. Lakers should rather the 7 seed than the 6 seed in having to play the Clippers.
Yeah. Go ahead and admit, full admission, you're a Lakers fan, right?
Huge Lakers.
Huge Lakers fan. I'm a bigger Clippers fan, and they don't want to see us right now. Playing game for the Lakers, as Denzel would say. Shoot program, Lakers. That's where y'all want to go right now. Don't want to deal with us. We're a closed fist. We're top heavy, and we got depth. We have it all. Not saying we're the best team, but we're not what you want to see when you have to hit the ground running, and that's what the Lakers potentially will be in. Just think about this. The fact, the mindset, the reality that we would even consider this question, that the Lakers may be considering this privately, playing game, which is near sudden death, or you got to go out there and face the Clippers. And that may be daunting because the Lakers, they've been injured for so long, and then they're going to have to hit the ground running. How did they hit the ground last year? People forget in the bubble when they first started off, 3-6. And people were like questioning, what's going on with the Lakers? After the break, they come back 3-6. But then we know that they got their things rolling and accelerated to the championship. That is not going to happen. You don't get chances and time to get yourself gathered together if you face the Clippers first. That playing game may be a blessing in disguise to kind of get LeBron, AD back together, healthy, and to figure out their chemistry, to figure out their potential. Because if you see the Clippers first, it may be problems.
And I don't even know if the Lakers are being that secretive anymore. Remember, LeBron James was supposed to return against the Knicks. Pump fake. He's supposed to return against the Rockets. Pump fake. I'm not saying the Lakers are trying to avoid the Clippers, but they're not actively trying to get into the 6th seed, in my opinion.
So why did they win a game against Houston? I mean, look, I know no AD, no LeBron, but you still win?
Because I'm glad we went there. We don't got a ton of time to go there, but we don't go there. A coach can't tell players to go out there and lose.
Facts.
Right? When you're in the NFL and or even in college and you're trying to kind of manipulate seeding or whatever the case may be, they're not going to say go out there and lose. They will just manipulate their roster and playing time to enhance your chances of losing.
There you go.
So you can't go out there and tell THT or Kuzma to be sorry. They playing for checks. They playing for their family. Can't tell Montrezl to play bad. But you can say, hey, AD, you don't really need to play tonight. Hey, LeBron, go ahead and rest tonight. Lakers still won because they're just that much better than the worst team in the league, which is the Rockets. But I'm not convinced that the Lakers are actively trying to get into that 6th seed.
All of that real. All of that facts. What's worse than that is that I think AD is really hurt. That growing is for real. LeBron, I don't know so much, but still, he's 36. Like, it's adding up. This may be a 2nd out of 3rd year for the Lakers and LeBron. No playoffs. We'll see. Coming up, Tom Brady is already trolling the Cowboys before their season opener. We'll tell you if we like the GOAT calling out America's team. That's next on Speak But Yes. Yeah! Go Clips.
Tom Brady's Bucks will host the Cowboys to start the season, and the GOAT is already working it on social media. He posted, quote, 9-9 can't come soon enough. Excited to open against America's team. Then he added a gif from the TV show WandaVision to show sarcasm. So, Sel, you like Brady trolling the Cowboys about being America's team?
I do. I love it. I know it's a joke, but I do love this because it's just like a battle of perception versus reality. So it reminds me of how, like, on Instagram, the rich people get a lot more attention and likes and followers than wealthy people. But in reality, that ain't the same. Like, the wealthy people are winning, but not on the gram. Same thing with this. It's all hype. Like, the Cowboys get all the love, all the attention. America's team. And Tom Brady's like, I need 2 hands to count these rings, brother, more than your entire franchise. So I like how he's highlighting that.
You didn't have to go like that, Marcel.
I went too hard.
You went a little too hard. So I was talking to my homeboy yesterday, and he brought up a good point. He said the people with the blue checks on social media, don't let them fool you, because sometimes they be the brokest. And that's what Tom Brady is really calling out the Cowboys for. The Cowboys have been verified as America's team, but when it comes to NFC championships in the last 25 years, the Cowboys the brokest. I like it.
Oh, man, there's nothing better than seeing somebody faking it and they ain't making it. All right, that's it for us. Fox Bet Live is next.